So we are going to talk about presidential system of what? Government. Now, who are the countries operating presidential system? Two notable examples are Nigeria, USA. What are the characteristics of presidential system? Now, the government is headed by what? A powerful president, executive president, who is not only the head of the government, controlling the affairs of the government, is also the ceremonial head of state. President Trump is or President Tinubu of Nigeria are the executive of president. They run the government, they control the affairs of the government. Then any ceremony involving the state, maybe independence celebrations, welcoming of foreign dignitaries, ceremonial function will also be undertaken by the president. So he has a double or dual role, executive and ceremonial, all fused into one? Executive plus what? Ceremonial function. Then there is a clear separation of all powers between the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. No fusion of powers. You have clear separation of all powers. There's no fusion. One cannot cross from one to the other. All the powers clearly delineated. See now, responsibility is what is a individual. When we move down to the parliamentary system of government, we see that responsibility is what? Collective. But here, responsibility is what? Is a individual. Whatever you do in power, the repercussions will be on you alone and not collectively on any other member of a government. For example, if the government is impeached in the presidential system of government, or the president dies, it doesn't lead to the demise of the government. It doesn't lead to the fall of the government. Following me. It is the president alone that is affected. Other members within the cabinet, the ministers, will remain in power until the next president decides otherwise. Then we also have elections are held separately for executive and legislative and even judicial positions. In the US, some members of the judiciary, they are elected, especially state supreme courts. Hello, are you following me now? So they hold the election separately. The election for the president is different from the election for for the assembly members, parliament members, and they are different from judicial members. So you have many elections, more elections under presidential than parliamentary system. Now, under the presidential, the party with the majority in the national assembly may not produce a president. Take a look at the US. At times, you come across the fact that the president, maybe the president is from the Republican Party. You now discover that it is the Democratic Party that will form majority of House of Representatives as well as senators. So the Republican will now produce the executive arm of the government, while the Democrat, the opposite party, will produce the legislative majority. Are you following me now? But in parliamentary system, the majority party will have to produce the members of the executive. Then the president does not belong to the parliament. His election is separate. He has nothing to do with elections into the national assembly. So his own election is distinct. But in parliamentary, which we will soon talk about, the election into the parliament is also election for executive members. You have to win parliamentary elections before you can become members of the executive. Then most cabinet members are not elected but appointed, but they are appointed by the president. They are not elected at all. The president can decide to appoint cabinet members from anywhere, any sphere, any section of the world, of the society. Then coalition governments are not common. We will talk about this coalition government later. Now that is election government run by two or more parties. The mechanism of it, we'll talk about it under what? Parliamentary system. Then winners emerge by presidential system. Winners emerge by what? Simple majority or runoff what? Elections. Of course, this is modified by what? The American collegiate system. We will still talk about that. So we have first past the post. You are struggling for 100 votes, for example. The person with 51 votes is the winner. First past the post. Then what do you mean by runoff election? Let's say there are 4 parties, A, B, C, D. Out of the national vote, A won 45%, B won 42%, C won 10%, D won what? 3%. C and D are automatically what? Eliminated, leaving A and B. A and B will have to undergo another round of elections. That round of elections is what you call what? Runoff what? Runoff election. Are you following me now? In the runoff election now, the parties are reduced to what? Or candidates are reduced to what? 2. So, the president that wins by simple majority is the president. Hello, are you following me? That is what you mean by what? Runoff election. Please, it is not every nation practicing presidential system that engages in runoff elections. Runoff elections are not here in Nigeria. They are not here in the United States. But in some countries, they have runoff election, according to the mechanism I just described. Now, if you take a look at presidential system, right from the beginning, the United States have been practicing what? Presidential system of government. But Nigeria, right from independence, Nigeria started in 1960. Nigeria started with what? Parliamentary system. Are you following me now? But in 1979, when the military were handing over what? Power, we changed from parliamentary to what? Presidential. The government of Shehu Shagari started the presidential system of what? Government. And in Nigeria, from 1999, when the military was handing over power again to civilians, to Obasanjo now as the civilian president, will be from 1999 up to date, will be practicing presidential system of government.